Happy Fed Day to those of you who celebrate, okay? Look, it's here, it's happening. Jerome Powell's going to tell us what's going to happen to our risk asset bags. It's going to be a good day. Probably things are going to be fine. Let's see how we go. Of course, we're going to be talking about that, the latest macro news, Bitcoin, hopium charts, altcoins. Let's get it. So, first and foremost, major decision day for crypto because it is Fed Day. So the FOMC is here, day 2. Jerome Powell, he's going to be speaking in just a few hours' time, and that's going to determine how risk assets probably perform in the month of April. Now, as Trueflation here points out, CPI and PPI both came in below expectations, means inflation's cooling and it's cooling fast. Trueflation numbers have inflation way lower than they are right now. The Fed is always massively behind. And even if tariffs increase inflation, the estimate's only about a 0.8% increase to inflation from tariffs. Well, the inflation's dumped so fast because of stuff like the falling price of oil. You see here. That tweet up here somewhere. There we go. U.S. gas prices dropped 4th consecutive week, reaching a 4-year low. Okay, look at that. So prices of stuff is coming down. Even if tariffs push inflation back up, it might only be a little bit over 2%, which is interesting. So look, here's the expectation. There's not going to be any rate cuts today. Anybody who says that's probably hitting the hopium barn a little bit too hard. I mean, look, Jerome Powell can always surprise us. My guess is that this Fed is usually slow. They're usually behind the curve, and they're not going to do anything this time. They're probably going to wait for May. We'll probably get a rate cut in May. I think it's a very high likelihood. Most certainly by June, but probably in May. And that sort of mic drop, hey, you're not going to get a rate cut today moment from Jerome Powell will leave the markets to flounder for a few weeks. But here's the interesting thing. If Jerome Powell comes out and says, well, we see a path towards finishing quantitative tightening, markets are going to like that. Most of the big banks already say QT is going to come to an end anyway, so that's good. Quantitative easing is not in the picture, guys. Okay, it's not coming anytime soon. There's some shadow QE going on through the Treasury General Account and stuff like that, which we've talked about, but the Fed doing straight up QE, it's not really in the cards right now. That's sort of response to a massive crisis. If you really want QE, you have to assume that horrific bear market, terrible recession, everything goes to absolute shit, and then you get QE. Yay. Maybe we don't have to do that this time, okay? We can just have a nice market rally, nice slow grind up. Anyway, that's one thing, okay? The other thing is that I think Jerome Powell's probably going to lay those breadcrumbs for the rate cuts. He'll say something like, well, we see a path towards potentially lowering rates at the next meeting. We'll get the dot plots showing who thinks that we're supposed to have a cut at the next meeting. And so these are the two things that we're going to do. Have you got a knife out because you're going to cut it off if it doesn't bounce today? Hope not. I like it. I don't want to cut it off, okay? Don't want to have to cut it off. Pull a McAfee, man. R.I.P. John McAfee, what a character. Anyway, those are the two things we're looking forward to. I mean, some other stuff in terms of Jerome Powell's, what's he going to say about strategic Bitcoin reserve? What's he going to say about the job numbers? What's he going to say about tariffs? I mean, this stuff all factors into how markets are going to react over the next few weeks. But if he comes in with a relatively dovish tone, particularly on rate cuts, particularly on quantitative tightening, which are the real big sort of factors right now for the markets, then that gives the market room to breathe over the next few weeks. And that's what we're looking for. Okay. So we'll see. I'll update you guys tomorrow. Arthur Hayes saying it's Fed Day, mofos. Congratulations, everybody, of course, who celebrates. Happy Fed Day. Will they indicate when and if QT ends? This is the big question right now. And over in the EU, will the rearming of the EU paid for with printed euros overwhelm the near-term fiscal impulse of the USA? That's the big macro question. If yes, correction over. If no, hold on to your butts. QT coming in the USA. And by the way, I know we talk much about US markets. Chinese stock markets pumping, EU stock markets pumping. There's a big rotation right now of capital out of US markets, which are relatively overvalued, into European markets, into Chinese markets. Those are pumping right now. So there's money being made anywhere, always somewhere, right? So it's interesting. Huge money printing, huge liquidity inflows right now. We'll talk about the global M2 here in a few minutes. Jim Bianco says, does anyone really believe that this is the second most uncertain time in the last generation? Is there more uncertainty now than after 9/11 or the global financial crisis? Or maybe this uncertainty thing has been completely overplayed. Yeah, look at this. This is insanity. News articles are playing up economic uncertainty. The economic policy uncertainty index right now has worse than the sovereign debt crisis, the global financial crisis, or the 9/11 terrorist attacks. Tower 7, guys. That's all you need to know about. Anyway, different conversation. Look, that's insanity. So Trump's doing some tariffs and everybody's losing their minds. It's as bad as the global financial crisis. What is going on? People need to turn the damn CNN off, man. Holy shit. Jolly Green Investor says when people start talking about a recession, it usually marks the bottom. True. Very fascinating, isn't it? Look, peaks of recession talk happen in these areas. Very curious, isn't it? Satoshi Flipper says, April 2nd, I'm optimistic. This is quoting Scott Bessent, by the way, the Treasury Secretary. Come April 2nd, I'm optimistic that some of the tariffs may not even have to go on. There's going to freak markets out for weeks and end. Then when it comes to be time, they're probably not even going to do a lot of the tariffs. I mean, the Mexicans are negotiating. The Canadians are negotiating. The Europeans are going to negotiate. Everyone's going to negotiate, man. There's going to be a negotiated settlement. Things won't be as crazy as the media portrays it to be. It's not the new Armageddon. I mean, it's just a renegotiation of trade deals, guys. It's not like, anyway, I can think that and the market can still freak out and lose their minds. NASDAQ yesterday pulled back slightly. Of course, we have to talk about the NASDAQ. We have to talk about the S&P 500 because we are deeply correlated right now. Okay, look at this. So we did have a nice breakout here. Came back down a little bit. Let's see how we react after the Fed today. The U.S. close today is going to be a big one to watch, okay? Positive Fed news. We could get back up here to the 200-day EMAs. Negative Fed news. We're not that far away from making, not new lows for the year, let's say. Only 2% down to get to a low. And 3.2% to get to a high. I mean, the stock market's not going to move 3% in a day, but could at least start heading back in the right direction here for the NASDAQ. MACD slowly grinding towards what could be a bullish MACD crossover. Still a ways to go, though, to all that confirmed. Same for the S&P 500, moving in that direction. We did get rejected yesterday at the 200-day EMA. Fell back below this key line of price support right here. Again, everything hinges on what the Fed does today, okay? Guys, for trading the cryptocurrency markets, get yourselves an account over on Bitunix. Look, I know a lot of you guys aren't able to trade in some of the best exchanges. Well, Bitunix has got you covered for that because guess what? Anybody, anywhere can use it. There's no KYC, there's no VPN, there's no bullshit. All you have to do is use the link down below, get signed up, and you can start trading. That's it. Deposit some USDT, have a good time. It's that simple. Here's the deal too. You use that link down below, sign up, get $10 for free. You can use that to just try out the exchange, see what's going on there. You can get 20% deposit reward as well. So you put in $1,000, get 200 back, and you can get up to $2,000 in trading bonuses. Nice. Go check it out if you are a cryptocurrency trader and you want to have an exchange where you have great liquidity, top pairs, and a bit more privacy. So Bitcoin right now still basically grinding up in this big fat ascending rising wedge pattern. So again, as mentioned yesterday, we see the terminus of this rising wedge coming in right here at this absolute critical zone, 200-day SMA, yellow, green line, purple line, 200-day EMA, yellow line, 20-day EMA. Crazy, man. Crazy. We'll see how it goes. Now, you might even say, okay, well, look here, this is already starting to break down. Well, it's not really breaking down, just kind of, sometimes you have this happen with these chart patterns where it just kind of doesn't really break down or break up. It just kind of keeps going sideways, cuts right through it, and then goes sideways some more. So we're just going to redraw that line a little bit here for right now. Okay, we're still in a rising wedge until proven otherwise, which is a bearish chart pattern. You need to break out to the upside, ideally beyond some of these key moving averages right here. And look, we are so close to, when I say we face major decision time, we are so close to salvation and absolute devastation at the same time. Because if Bitcoin can just pump by 3.5% and actually stay above, okay, not just like pump through rejection to hit 9th level of Dante's Inferno, okay? No. If you can actually pump 3.5% maintain it, you take out all the key moving averages you want to see taken out. That's a really good thing. And that's so close at hand. The flip side, if Jerome Powell even has a fart of uncertainty or fear or saying that QT is going to keep going longer than people think, or we're not going to cut rates anytime soon. That's a stinky fart, Jerome Powell. Don't drop that shit on us, man. In that situation, new lows are only 9% away. Very important decision time for the cryptocurrency markets, okay? So we'll see how it plays out once Jerome Powell opens up his mouth a bit later on today. Could be exciting times nevertheless. Check this out. Total spot Bitcoin ETF flows. The outflows are slowing. In fact, the outflows are slowing so much. That's Lucas sharing that. The outflows are slowing so much, actually, that we're actually seeing some positives come back in. I think we got, who shared that? Here we go. This one, here we go. My tweets are messed up today. $200 million net inflows yesterday, 50 million outflows for Ethereum, of course, because Ethereum, but Bitcoin, $200 million. I know it's not $1 billion. Okay, fine. No, it's not $1 billion, but $200 million is a nice little chunk of change here, okay? So slowly but surely, Wall Street's starting to nibble again at Bitcoin at these current prices, okay? Decode Jar shared this. Bitcoin is in a bear market. The bear market. Basically just a giant, big, fat retest of the 50-week EMA. We've talked about that here a few times, but very interesting place for Bitcoin to be at right now. It can happen multiple times throughout a bull market cycle. The question is, will it hold? That's the big one right now, isn't it? Great chart here from the Titan of crypto. Bitcoin bullish chart pattern forming. Right angled descending, broadening wedge microphone pattern. So if we bounce here, if we start grinding back up, this could be our path to glory here. Now, I want to make it clear too, and I've talked about this a few times, but a lot of damage has been done here. Even if we get a positive outlook from the Fed today, don't expect things to go straight back to the moon, right? It's going to take a while to unwind some of the damage that has been done in the charts. We might not see new highs in the best scenarios here, okay? In the best scenarios where we start catching up to global M2, where we get positive news from the Fed, where we do get rate cuts coming in May, quantitative tightening ends in the next 6 weeks, that kind of stuff. Still probably won't see new highs on Bitcoin until May or June, best possible scenario, right? Worst scenario, of course, is that we enter a 4-year bear market and we were all horrifically wrong on everything and nobody sold enough except like 5 guys and everything goes to zero again. That's always a possibility too. I would actually welcome that. That'd be fine. I'd be okay with a horrific bear market. I don't love them, but at least it's a comfort zone. It's a place I've spent so much of my time in crypto. I'll be fine there. What I don't want to see, because it's almost like the max pain scenario, even though technically the the bear market is max pain scenario, be just the markets go sideways for months and months and months and months and months on end. 6 months of sideways action for Bitcoin. Let's hope that the hopium guys win the day, okay? Global M2, Colin keeping us up to date here. Check this out. New highs for the global M2, baby. It is pump-a-dumping. Let's go. Very nice. Very, very nice. Now, based on the high correlation, the 170-day offset, Bitcoin can begin its next major blast off around April 30th. So anytime between now and the end of April, in theory, is when we start seeing a catch-up happening for risk assets in the global M2. And that's going to be Tesla stocks. That's going to be probably the NASDAQ. That's going to be Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, all this kind of stuff. Okay. So there you go. That's kind of where we are right now. Global M2 pumping, global M2 hitting new highs, 83% correlation. I was thinking about all the different things today too. And look, maybe the contrarians take today, but there's so many different factors from all these different things we've shared about the stock market over the last few weeks and how we can see different levels of correlation coming from different indicators and stuff like that. Anyway, so I think Here we go. I think that if we see the M2 catching up, that's going to be a good thing. It's a highly contrarian bet to say that we're not going to follow M2. 83% of the time we do. This could be that 17% of the time that markets are just too panicked about tariffs, man, and we won't catch up. But betting man's odds say we do. MicroStrategy to issue 5 million stocks to buy more Bitcoin, because of course they are, man. Of course they are. What's MicroStrategy stock going for these days? $300-400, something like that. So that's a lot of cheddar. It's a lot of Bitcoin, man. It's a lot of Bitcoin. Michael Saylor is going to keep on buying. He's back. He's back. He's finding new ways to buy. Of course, they're working on a $21 billion raise as well to buy even more Bitcoin. You know, you might forget about this, but MicroStrategy, we call it strategy. Now, MicroStrategy actually does have a software business that makes the money too. It's not just them buying Bitcoin relentlessly. Anyway, it's pretty cool. This is an interesting one from Cointelegraph. 83% of institutions plan to increase their crypto allocations in 2025, according to Coinbase's latest institutional investor survey. That's pretty crazy, man. Think about that. 83% of institutions plan to increase their allocations to crypto. Institutions, we're in a very interesting place. I've been looking, I follow a lot of people on X, and you know, the guys who talk like Bitwise and stuff, who talk to the extra institutional players. All the institutions right now are super bullish on crypto, on Bitcoin, on tokenization, on real world assets, all this kind of stuff. Retail's like losing their minds right now. Okay. Let's take a quick look here at Ethereum. Oh, $2,000 on Ethereum. What's going on? I'm paranoid now. I mean, what the fuck is this? Holy shit, guys. Lock up your wives, lock up your daughters. Shit's about to go down. ETH is pumping. What is this? Bitcoin chilling. ETH is pumping. Oh, shit. Oh, man. Every time that ETH pumps, I swear the markets just crater afterwards. Don't you, Vitalik, don't you do it again. Don't you do it again. Come on. What the heck? Anyway, hey, congratulations for Ethereum holders. Look, this has been, we made that video the other day, like, is Ethereum dead? Basically saying like, this is the kind of sentiment that you tend to see right at the bottom of a market cycle, or at bottom of a price chart for an asset. I still think that Ethereum's got a lot of issues, even if it does start really moving soon. But man, tell you what, if ETH does start moving, and don't worry, we're not going to get super excited over a few percent move, but hey, that is an ascending triangle breakout here, breaking to the upside, which so far nice to see. So good for you, Ethereum. Good for you. What's up with Brad Garlic House coin today? Brad Garlic House. So Brad Garlic. It's Brad Garlic House. Lord, come on, get it right. Brad Garlic House coin formed up a big fat old triangle here. It has been very closely respecting the 20-day EMA, still trading well above the 200-day EMA. A break here of the 20-day EMA. Now we've got rejected here a few times, has short-lived breakouts, okay? But a breakout here could see it rise as high as, let's say, the top of the triangle here, around 275, 280, something like that. So look, the Bread Garlic House coin is legit one of the strongest coins in the market right now, with one of the best charts in the market. Okay. And you guys know I'm not like the world's #1 XRP fan, but respect the chart, man. Respect the Garlic House. Okay. You don't mess around with the Garlic House. Solana, come on, dude. Ethereum's pumping. Have you not got the news? It's pump time, dude. It's pump time, Solana. Let's go. Let's go. I want to see Solana get back over the 20-day EMA. That's sort of the risk-on trigger for all these assets, really, when it comes down to it, okay? 20-day EMA reclaims, which is why, again, XRP has been doing so much better compared to most of the other coins. It's been respecting that 20-day EMA really closely. ETH is getting close to a 20-day EMA breakout. It needs to get up to around $2,100, let's say, to do that. For Solana, we need to get up over 137. So, and it goes, it needs to go about $10 in price. Now, you might consider, especially if we, let's see the price go up to like 140, for example, off of some positive shit from Jerome Powell. Well, then what are we starting to form here? Higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low. You might have yourselves an uptrend there, if we can retake the damn 20-day EMA. Hard to have an uptrend without a 20-day EMA being taken out. Currently, we're still trading under that. Okay, so just FYI. Aptos. Of course, I own Aptos. I own Solana. I own some other cryptocurrencies. Guys, if you want to know which coins that I own, you can always find that down below in the description of these videos on YouTube, the pinned comment over on X. That's where you'll find my current holdings, OTC deals, venture rounds, and a risk statement. Because investing in crypto is risky. You can literally lose all of your money. Okay. Now, Avery from Aptos says from 200 millisecond block times fastest in the industry to 150 millisecond block times. That's wild. We warned you about this. It's only going to get faster. Aptos mainnet now averaging 7 blocks a second. That's crazy, man. That's absolutely bonkers. Crazy. The FOMC meeting is currently going on, Grinch. But Jerome, the big event, the finale is Jerome Powell's talking. That's at 2:30 Eastern time, if I remember correctly. Anyway, Aptos chart. I did buy some more Aptos today, actually. Bought some more Aptos. Currently going up for, once again, another retest here of the 20-day EMA. Now, Aptos has actually been showing a lot more strength than a lot of coins, to be honest. A lot of coins haven't even had retests of their 20-day EMAs. I know it's had a huge, brutal drawdown. I am not oblivious to that fact. Don't worry. But what's interesting is that we've seen it actually retest multiple times and try to get this momentum at least. A lot of coins aren't even trying. A lot of coins are just like cooked as fuck right now, and they're not even close to their 20-day EMAs. I mean, some of them are really, really bad. But we're seeing some recovery across some assets, starting to show a little bit of optimism, which, of course, can get easily just smashed on the ground, like taking a vase, a big glass vase, and just smash on the ground, watch it break into 1,000 pieces. That's what Jerome Powell can do to your hopes and dreams and aspirations for whatever little bit of spark you might have thought that you're going to escape the matrix. No, Jerome Powell's going to say, fuck you. You're not escaping the matrix. You're here forever, baby. Paul Griffith says, your videos are getting so cringe and clickbaity. I really don't know what is going on, Paul. I mean, we face a major decision today. Is that clickbait? Is this a clickbait title? I literally have no idea what a clickbait title is then, if that's a clickbait title, because we do face major decision today because we're at very critical points on all the charts as we've just been talking about, and the Fed meeting is probably going to determine how risk assets are going to play over the next 6 weeks. So if that's clickbait, I have no idea what clickbait is, Paul, and I've totally lost my mind on YouTube, okay? I understand, guys. I try to make, rational sounding video titles, but anyway. Let's continue. Look, so here we go. Aptos once again coming up to a very close move on the 20-day EMA here. So let's see if we get some positive news from the Fed. I mean, that's got breakout potential. 50-day EMA only up here at $6.30. Okay. So let's see what happens. But very interesting place. It's one of those assets that has been maintaining a bit more strength compared to some others. So I like it. I dig it. Let's see what happens. Bullish on my Aptos bags. Speaking of bags I'm bullish on is Sonic. Sonic's been slaying it, man. Look at this. Number 12 by total value locked. Number 6 by DAP revenue. Absolutely crushing it, man. The price of Sonic, much like anything's not that crazy far behind, okay? But check this out as well. USDCE being bridged to Sonic Labs, steadily increasing. This increase over the past month, about 230%. 230% increase in USDC coming over to Sonic. It is the hot spot right now. Okay, and I've got money over on Sonic. I put in some money. I put all my Sonic into Aave, and I took a loan versus that to buy some more Sonic, mostly just to farm those Sonic points for the upcoming airdrop, baby. I wonder how it's going to perform in June after the airdrop finishes, if it'll keep the momentum going. But certainly those first months of the year, very, very positive, I think, here for Sonic. So let's see how it plays out. Chart looking pretty good so far. Have a check on this right here. Look, Again, one of those assets have been really a lot stronger compared to a lot of other things. In 12th February, we had a beautiful rally from 50 cents up to $1. Yeah, we came back down to 40 cents when really markets started hitting heavy risk off, especially in the stock markets. Once again, coming back up to try to retake the 20-day EMA. So very interesting. By the way, I'm back in Fartcoin, guys. Pray for my soul. Oh, we'll see what happens. It burned again. Let's see how we go. But it has been showing a lot of comparative strength again to a lot of other assets, trying to maintain here above the 20-day EMA for the last 5 days. Let's see how it goes. If we go into a risk on scenario here for crypto, if we get some positive takeaways from the Fed, then this is probably one that flies. It's maintaining incredibly high mind share, incredibly high volume, and growing on-chain daily holders. And I'm not against meme coins. You guys know I'm never been against meme coins, just that the vast majority of them are absolute crap garbage. I mean, the dead squirrel man. I know. Who am I to be out here criticizing your meme coin choices when I literally just bought something called Fartcoin? This guy loves Fartcoin, yet not DigiByte. Alt Zulu, I would like to point some simple facts out for you. One, everybody talks about Fartcoin these days, okay? Simple fact. Everybody talks about Fartcoin. Almost nobody talks about DigiByte. Look, I can respect the tech that DigiByte has delivered. I'm not going to argue that fact. DigiByte actually does something, quote unquote. Fartcoin does nothing. But here's a hot take for you. Both DigiByte and Fartcoin technically do nothing because nobody uses DigiByte for anything. It's a completely useless coin in the current market format. Maybe they come out with something big in the future that gets people really, really excited and they start curing puppy sadness or something like that. But right now, nobody cares about DigiByte. Okay, it's just the simple fact, man. The simple fact. Nobody gives a shit. And if you look at the daily volumes, Fartcoin does $100 million a day. DigiByte does $5 million a day. And that's being listed on like Binance and shit like that. Fartcoin's not even on Binance yet. So look, there you go. Much love for your DigiByte bags, brother. I want you to do well. I just don't see it. He's literally trolling at this point. Maybe he is. Nobody wants DigiByte. Sold that 4 years ago. I know, man. I know. Brett listed. Is Brett finally listing on? Is that really happening? Is Brett finally listing on Coinbase? Well, good for you, Brett. Good for you. I hope that's the case. Let's see here. Let me just have a quick old look here. Markets are definitely going looking to take a bit of risk here as we get closer to the FOMC, aren't they? Let me see here. All right. You must be, I mean, I'll look at the Brett charts right now. There's literally just like nothing going on here. You must be talking about that they got listed on Coinbase institutional for like leverage trading, which doesn't actually drive any spot demand. I think that's what happened with Brett, which I guess maybe is a precursor to something happening later for a spot listing. But yeah, anyway, Plume. My buddy was telling me about Plume the other day. It's interesting. I think real world asset stuff's going to absolutely do super well. So it's on my radar. Let's put it that way. I don't have any yet. Top indicator when everybody's talking about the same meme. Maybe. Everything's down so far, so deeply right now, though. It's crazy. I don't think it's the top signal for any of those. Are y'all still giving away crack? My favorite working man's drug, crack, man. Gotta get some water, guys. Let's thirsty. Okay, thirsty. Gotta hydrate. Hydrate here. Don't have my cap on. Okay, Jerome Powell's got me all confused today. Oh my goodness. Anyway, continuing. Fartcoin up 25% today. It is. Had a nice real rally after a big fat dump yesterday. The thing for me it's interesting and what I'm watching for is broader acceptance over the 20-day EMA, which you mean everything depends what Jerome Powell says today. Let's just keep that straight up. But currently, looks like what we could be seeing here. Now, I was hesitant to enter yesterday. It sort of bottomed out here around 26, 27 cents while I was sleeping. By the time I woke up today, it was already sort of back up here on 29, 30 cents. So let's watch, see how the market starts reacting towards being on the eve of Jerome Powell talking. I mean, expect some volatility in the charts here around that. But as long as what he says is generally good-ish, and I laid out the factors for what that's probably going to look like, then we could see some of these risk assets at least have a relief rally, man. Can we at least get a relief rally? That'd be great. Finally catching your live stream. Do you have any Caspa? No. Any KRC20 coins? No, I do not. Sorry, Jose. Only so many coins out there that can catch my attention. For one reason or another, you know, Caspa just never really like spoke to me. I know a lot of people made a lot of money on it back in early 24 or late 23. So congratulations. I hope you got in early. I hope you're still up big in profits. But yeah, never really did it for me, man. Is there any chance they NQT today? I mean, they could, but they're not going to just come out and say, all right, QT's done, baby. They're going to say, well, you know, we're going to be in the process of ending QT over the next few weeks. They always talk in this sort of very Jedi kind of there, right? Only a Sith speaks in absolutes, right? Jerome Powell, maybe borderline evil, but anyway, I don't think we're going to get something that definitive to say we're ending it today, but they could. What we're hoping that they're going to say is that it's coming to an end and that they have a definitive timeline for winding that process down. But they might come out and say, you know what, psh, boom, done. Cerebro, more specifically Zero Pay, and are they still? I mean, they're still developing, they're still working on shit. But man, what an absolutely destructive coin. I've even thought about taking something like Cerebro and just selling it and flipping it into AI 16Z just to try to consolidate positions a little bit more, man. No drugs in the UAE. Good. I like that. It makes me happy. I don't do drugs, so it's nice not to have them being done all around me all the time. How hot is it in Dubai at the moment? It's only about 30 today, so it's not actually that crazy. No, by the way, if you want to do drugs, you guys have fun, enjoy it, but not my cup of tea, let's say. When this finally kicks off, why don't all the goblins get together on a yacht somewhere? Good times. Can you take a look at Beam? Will it recover? Well, I've got a Beam bag, and it is down bad, rough. Look, I think they recover. I think Beam comes back. Those guys are a pretty hardworking team. They continue doing stuff. They continue working. They continue pushing stuff. But, yeah, I think you can't argue with how bad it's been sort of sold off, but then most coins have been. So it's not really unique in the sense that it's been absolutely savaged by the markets. Crypto gaming, though, I think has really struggled as a narrative this cycle. And I've been a big sort of believer in crypto gaming, and my belief in crypto gaming has time and again been basically not just not rewarded, but like the big fat dump's been taken on me every time that I try to go all in. No, not go all in, but like, you know, put some more money into crypto gaming stuff. Most of the crypto games, like pre-sales that I invested in, just got destructed. Even if the games are good and people play them, doesn't care. Market doesn't care. Still pretty high hopes for Gunzilla. I think that's going to do really well. Beam, Zentry, stuff like that. Probably pretty good opportunities in terms of being broader infrastructure projects, but they need a gaming narrative to take off. Maybe Gunzilla is the game that gets everybody excited about gaming again when it releases their token, but yeah. We're not even close to anywhere near where the shit coins will be in the realm of risk that anyone would consider in their sphere. Dead squirrel better than flatulence. Oh my gosh. ETH reclaiming 2000. Is Gala still alive? Don't know. Don't follow it. Lark, you again. Alt Zulu. I don't have an opinion on Filecoin, man. I really don't know enough about it or think about it enough to care about it. What does America's most sought out financial advisor Dave Portnoy have to say about the Fed meeting? Glimmer. Oh, geez. Yeah, I sold those bags a while ago, man. Just should have just insta-sold everything back in 2022. Nope. Held on to everything. Anyway, say la vie. Sui, man, that's a strong coin. I think it has a big bounce back when we start seeing risk really tick up here. So look, its chart looks relatively similar to most charts here on the market right now, but there is, let me just give you a little bit of hopium here. If you're watching this, we could be on the verge of an RSI breakout. So you can see the RSI has been in a downtrend here. There's a few different ways you can draw right here, right there. So it's right on the verge of this RSI breakout right now, which is a major downtrend it's been in for a long time. 20-day EMA, 250, all these key areas right above it here. Downtrend still very much in effect, but it doesn't take much to break out of a downtrend. So let's see how we go. I like Sui. Those guys do good work. Lark Housier, I do not have, that's the Kanye coin, isn't it? Did not buy the Kanye coin, would not buy the Kanye coin. Can everybody stop buying these fucking scams launched by celebrities? Holy shit. I saw there's some big streamer guy launching a coin as well. It's like, man, of course it's going to go to zero. Like, what do you guys think is going to happen? I would not buy Kanye coin. Come on. Like, what do we need this shit for? Look, instead of buying Kanye coin, buy something pure, man. Buy fart coin. Not financial advice. Never financial advice around here. But no, seriously. Jeremy says, I sold off 75% of my crypto that was worth anything in the last month, waiting for another big drop. We could still see big drop, especially if the Fed comes out and chooses violence today and takes a bearish tone, ends up being very hawkish. Then my guess is that, yeah, markets are not going to like that. We'll see a further dump. Wild World, Adnos. Look, there's a lot of coins that are at very interesting prices right now. Prices that 3 months ago you probably would have dreamed of. But the problem is everybody bought their coins back then. They're down big time, and now they don't have the dry powder to buy coins largely. But if you do, there's probably some great opportunities out there. Now, we were talking today in the Discord about the sort of simple reality that, yeah, it's currently down 90%, but it can go down another 90%. We were talking about memes specifically. And look, there's not a lot of memes I'd buy. I've talked about this. Short list memes that are interesting for me, stuff like Dog with Hat, even though I'm buying Fart Coin versus Dog with Hat. But there's some memes that I think are generally pretty good and probably will bounce back pretty strong when the bounce back happens. But yeah, a lot of coins that are actually building real shit that have pretty attractive prices at the moment, let's say. ETH is flying. Let's open up those ETH charts again, see what's going on. Oh, shit. Oh, shit. We're up another $10. Let's go. The dev is doing something. You know, somewhere Vitalik, he's just sending it up, man. Sending it up. You guys ever see a picture of Vitalik with must have like a water bottle or something in his pocket, but looks like a big old, you know, sausage in there. It's hilarious. Anyway. Nice. Quantum, good job, man. I love to hear that. Top 5,000 in Sonx points list for the airdrop. Trying to farm it hard. Let's go. Let's go, man. That's awesome. Fantastic news. Dovish is my vote, aka stopping QT. I reckon he's going to come with some kind of dovish tone. And maybe, you know what? Maybe he does stop QT. If Jerome Powell stops QT today, I think markets are really going to like that. So that would be. And then if he says, guys, QT stopping, and we're probably going to cut rates next time, markets are going to start pricing in better financial conditions. And I think we'll see it reflected in the charts. Oh, man, it's Jerome Powell's world. We just trade in it, isn't it? It's crazy. I'm 55 with lots of hair, no gray hair. Try washing hair with raw eggs once in a while. I used to put mayonnaise in my hair back in the day, actually. It's a long time ago. Different story. Keep your hair away from direct sunlight too. Just keep yourself away from like the worst sunlight hours, actually. That's kind of what my wife and I do, is more of just a general practice in life. We just don't go out between like 11 and 3, 11 and 4. It's just the UV index is too high. It's not the time to go. You want to go out in the morning, go out in the afternoon. One single word which could possibly be interpreted as dovish is all that we need. Oh, yes. Yes. Knock, knock. Who's there? ETH. Oh, you're so back. It's actually concerning seeing ETH pumping without other things really pumping. But Bitcoin's starting to move up a little bit. Bitcoin's at $84,000, coming right back into the 200-day SMA right now. Okay, nice. Let's see. Again, we're so close. We're so close to the promised land, and we're so close to Armageddon because of mega rejection here. Bad news. If we take out these resistance lines, very good news. We got here, crush an aspirin into my shampoo. Interesting. I think we get a fake pump then a lower low. Wouldn't surprise me, Jeremy. Wouldn't surprise me. Depends on how much the market buys what Jerome Powell says today. And look, there's a lot of stuff lining up here for the markets. Again, we talked about all that stuff like nonstop for the last week. Okay, doesn't mean we can't have more price turbulence in the short term. Expect volatility around today's Fed meeting, but let's see how we go. Okay, one or two more questions, guys. We're gonna keep going here. Finish up for today. 72K coming, says Django. Then 94K, then 44K. Fascinating. Fascinating. So basically, the thought is we get one nice relief rally after a short dump, and then basically recession and bear market. Let's see. Again, that's a relatively contrarian bet. We've talked about the reasons why that's a contrarian bet, to think that we're going to have a recession coming to play when the Fed's own recession indicator is going way down right now. ISM's doing good. Unemployment's near record lows. The amount of job openings is on the rise. All this kind of stuff. There's a lot of things going positive. I know the tariff thing's starting to freak people out in the markets, but overall, things are okay. Are you going live during the Fed meeting? I'm not. I'm going to just be enjoying my life, hanging out with my wife and my kids, or sleeping, or whatever time it comes in at. So that will not be. We'll talk about tomorrow. All-time high loading in 30, 60 days. I think it takes a little longer than that to get back to an all-time high, but that's okay. Where on the offset on the M2 chart does today's meeting line up with the bump? With the bump, let's bring it up. I don't know how closely we're going to follow it. Just going to try to find it here for you real quick. Where is it at? M2. Oh, here we go. Okay, I'm bringing it up here for you. We are right here right now. Okay, so the Fed meeting kind of lines up with the bump here, and then of course a pullback down. Now we don't 100% follow every little tiny nuance. We follow the broad trends of the M2. So it doesn't mean that we have to get this mid bump here. So we rally up to 90K or something and then back down to some lower number, putting in an eventual higher low, but after a pretty big, brutal move. Doesn't necessarily have to happen like that. We could just see a slow grind up, but we'll see how we go over the next few weeks, of course. So what are your thoughts? I think Jerome Powell comes out, if I didn't make it clear enough, I think Jerome Powell comes out relatively dovish, giving an indication of when QT is going to end, if not, trying to draw it down relatively soon, and giving an indication that rate cuts are going to be coming, not today, but in May or June. So I think that's going to be something the market's going to like. He's going to say, okay, we're keeping an eye on inflation, but it's going in the right direction. He's going to say, we're keeping an eye on unemployment, but it's still okay. We're keeping an eye on tariffs, which we'll see how it goes. But yeah, I think enough stuff going on that he's going to have a relatively dovish tone. There's no reason to be hawkish right now. Things have cooled enough. Lark, do you love Miggles? I think Miggles is a great potential meme coin. Don't own any. Used to own some, don't own any right now, but I think it's one that's probably got some pretty good potential for a Coinbase listing anyway. He's staying on top of Miggles developments. I have not, but it's one of those ones I would consider buying again. Let's just put that out there for you. On a scale of 1 to 11, how bullish are we going to feel when Jerome announces his personal massive bag of fart coin? To the moon. To the moon, the hot air rises. Okay, guys, you're awesome. Thanks so much. I'll see you back tomorrow. Peace.